Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to be diving deep into some truly fascinating insights from the work of Dawit Desta. Have you ever held a brand new, beautifully bound book in your hands and just wondered, what it actually took to get it there? I mean, we tend to romanticize the whole writing process, right? We picture this lone author typing away in a cozy cabin somewhere. But the truth? The journey from a raw, messy manuscript to a finished book in a reader's hands is this massive, rigorous, and completely hidden world. So today we are pulling back the curtain on the publishing industry to see exactly how it all operates.
All right, let's just dive right into our roadmap for today. First, we'll answer the question, what is a book? Then we'll look at the publisher's role, dive into budgeting and planning, tackle organizing and editing, and finally wrap up with the favorable conditions we're seeing in the market right now.
So, let's kick things off right at the foundation with Section 1. What actually is a book? Seriously, to all the aspiring writers and avid readers hanging out with us today, what actually makes a book a book? It sounds like such a totally simple question, doesn't it? You might think it's the plot, or maybe having a nice cover, or getting an official ISBN number. But historically, this sheer lack of a standard definition actually caused a ton of confusion all over the world. Different countries had completely different rules based on physical size or formatting. It was a bit of the Wild West.
But the reality is surprisingly mathematical. We actually rely on a standard that was set by UNESCO way back in 1964. Get this, to officially be considered a quote-unquote book as a non-periodical publication, the text must be at least 49 pages long, and that entirely excludes the cover. So if your brilliant, soul-bearing masterpiece clocks in at exactly 48 pages, well, under this standard, congratulations, you've just written a very passionate pamphlet. It's this stark, super technical reality that instantly just shatters those romanticized views right out of the gates.
Moving right along, let's jump into Section 2, the publisher's role.
There is this beautifully resonant quote from Dawit Desta's presentation that I just love. They are a bridge between authors and readers. Think about that for a second. A publisher isn't just a faceless corporation or a warehouse with a printing press. They serve as a vital structural bridge. Because without this bridge, an author's ideas are basically just stranded on an island, completely unable to safely cross over and actually reach you, the reader.
But as you can probably guess, building that bridge is some serious heavy lifting. Writing the text? That's literally just the starting line. Publishers have to conduct extensive market research just to see if anyone even wants to read the thing. They actively generate ideas, meticulously estimate financial costs, oversee this brutal editing process, manage the actual physical printing, and then somehow navigate these wild, complex distribution and promotion networks to get books to wholesalers, retailers, and finally, onto your shelf. It is a massive, massive undertaking.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the publishing project and the budget. Let's look at the behind-the-scenes financial reality of all this.
To keep that metaphorical bridge sturdy, a publisher has to balance two completely distinct realities. Behind the scenes, you absolutely need incredible operations. We're talking hyper-efficient management, ruthless cost control, and making sure your employees are actually satisfied. But simultaneously, on the public-facing side, they have to work magic. They're creating new markets out of thin air, adapting incredibly fast to weird changing trends, and building a shiny reputation that attracts top-tier authors. It's this high-stakes balancing act between cold, hard business mechanics and vibrant creative appeal. Before a single drop of ink ever even touches the paper, there is a super strict financial checklist that has to be completed. First up, they have to lock in the exact print run size based on all that market research we talked about. Second, they crunch the numbers on economies of scale. Basically, if they print a huge batch, can they lower the price per book enough to attract more buyers? Third, they build a rock-solid budget designed to cover all those costs and, hopefully secure an actual profit. And finally, they have to account for the cost of giving away free promotional copies just to generate some buzz. Literally every single penny is tracked. Now, here's a really crucial point. Sourcing manuscripts is almost never passive. There's this common myth that publishers just sit around at mahogany desks waiting for the next great novel to magically drop into their lap. No way. Proactive publishers are actively commissioning work. The source material notes organizations like Mahabare Kadasan, which publishes spiritual books. They don't just wait around, they utilize their own in-house experts to write, they hire freelancers on contract, and they aggressively seek out existing works from other publishers to translate. They are out there hunting for content to meet the market's demand.
All right, take a breath, because we are heading into Section 4, Organizing and Editing Text. Welcome to the Editor's Bootcamp.
Once a publisher finally gets their hands on a sourced manuscript, it gets torn down to the studs and totally rebuilt. It goes through this amazingly strict, layered structure. Step 1. The overall plan gets a complete redesign: introduction, body, conclusion. Step 2. Every single paragraph is audited. Does it have a clear topic sentence, strong supporting sentences, a solid concluding sentence? Step 3. Those long, rambling sentences writers love so much, they are ruthlessly chopped down. And Step 4. The logical flow from the main heading down to the subheading, right down to the very last word, is intensely verified. It is precise and it is totally unyielding.
And let me tell you, the rules of editing are absolute. You read it multiple times. You verify every single tiny fact. You maintain absolute, unwavering consistency across the entire text. You keep the work impeccably clean. You absolutely do not rush. You have to think before you correct. You use a dictionary religiously. You check the formatting of literally every word and number. This grueling quality control is exactly what separates a professional publication from just an amateur draft.
Okay, after that intense boot camp, it is time for some genuine optimism. In Section 5, Favorable Conditions.
Because, the truth is, we are currently seeing some incredibly encouraging market growth indicators out there. That bridge we talked about earlier, it is carrying more traffic right now than ever before. We're seeing this massively growing generation of active, hungry readers. Book clubs and launch inaugurations are turning into these huge cultural events. We have a massive influx of brand new writers. We've got incredibly innovative reading banks like Zinable popping up. And we have these passionate social media advocates who are championing the benefits of reading to a huge global audience. The environment for publishing right now is just vibrantly alive.
And I just want to pause for a second on this truly beautiful, kind of spiritual adaptation presented in the explainer. It takes the phrase, "where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them," and adapts it. In the context of our discussion today, it's interpreted as a gathering of an author, a translator, and a reader. I mean, how incredible is that? It elevates this entire concept of publishing from just being a mundane business procedure into this almost sacred cultural duty. It's really all about the profound, deeply human connection of sharing ideas.
Which honestly leaves a pretty big question ringing in our ears today. What role are you going to play in this emerging reading culture? Are you going to be the author drafting that next manuscript, the editor shaping the text in boot camp, the publisher building the bridge, or the passionate reader waiting on the other side? The hidden world of publishing is complex, it's demanding, but it is utterly vital. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep exploring.